All right, I am live on Mental Iron. Welcome, everyone. So my name is Lesley Timbol. I just finished the show with Dave Palumbo on Iron Therapy. We're talking about muscle dysmorphia. There was a guy who loves bodybuilding who recently died from some oil-enhanced injections. So I just wanted to talk a little bit today, a little bit more about muscle dysmorphia. Now, another name, it's not the clinical name, it's called bigorexia. So this is a form of anxiety. It's an anxiety disorder. This is where we constantly think about building muscle on the body. So basically, we're obsessed with the size of the muscle and worrying that we're going to appear physically weak to other people or underdeveloped as far as our muscles are concerned. So synthol, it basically, the effects of using some type of synthol, it's an oil that's injected, and it's injected into the site that you want to build. So if you want bigger biceps, you would inject the synthol in your bicep. Now, the effects are almost immediate from synthol, where the muscles will balloon up very quickly, but the injections do not increase your strength. So you don't get stronger with synthol. You appear stronger because your muscles have that more 3D effect look. So it actually can give you, if it's not done properly, synthol can actually give you an unnatural look to your muscles. So you can damage your muscle and put your cardiovascular health at risk by doing a lot of these injections if it's not done properly. So what are some of the, let's say, the visible drawbacks to using synthol? So you can have, doesn't mean you'll necessarily have these, I'm just talking about the warnings. Possible effects is having a heart attack, the deformed muscles, sustained nerve damage, blood clotting. So you can have a pulmonary embolism. You can get an ulcer in the injected muscle. It can increase your risk of cerebral stroke. And you can have possible infectious complications. So these are not great things. So, but I do understand why people do use synthol, because they want their muscles to look bigger. So how do you remove synthol from the muscle? If you find that, okay, maybe I put too much in. If you've done it for a long period of time and the muscle, it looks really deformed and that bothers you, you may need to go get surgery. You'd have to talk to a doctor about that as far as getting it removed. So what the surgeon would actually do is that he would use a test called an MRI, and this is to reveal what muscle tissue has been permanently damaged. So during the removal procedure, an incision would be made near the affected area, and then the surgeon would go in to remove the damaged tissue, or as much as safely can be taken out, and then close the incision. So the issue with people with muscle dysmorphia who use synthol, and again, we're talking about crazy amounts and not doing it in a smart way, is that these people like the appearance of the larger muscle, even if it's deformed. They just want bigger muscle. That's all they care about. And they can get recognition from other people. Now, sometimes the recognition is positive. Hey, that's really cool, because they see the injected muscle body part and they say, hey, I wish I had, let's say, biceps like you. But sometimes it's negative to say, hey, guy, that doesn't look so good. Again, it's still attention. Even if it's negative attention, it's still attention. And a lot of times when people cross the line of using synthol, they don't care. As long as they're getting some type of feedback, that's attention. So, you know, the guy who recently died of the oil enhanced, I don't know if it was synthol, but I think it was related, you know, in the news headlines, it was related to synthol. He said, the best thing, he said, is when people stop me in the street. So, you know, that, hey T Bray, how are you? Welcome to my channel. And by the way, if you have any questions, now I'm just talking about muscle dysmorphia today and synthol injections, but if you guys want to ask questions outside of the topic, I'm more than happy to do so, okay? So just type it in the chat. I'm just going to be chatting along, but I will check the chat and answer your questions. So again, if anyone has any kind of questions, just ask me in the chat. I'm happy to address those. So when you don't have really high self-esteem, you want attention. And this guy that died recently of the synthol injections was getting attention. So it gave him almost like a sense of purpose, that he knew what he could do and he would get this attention. So he kept doing it. And so people are saying, well, who's at risk for using synthol? And again, I'm not talking about bodybuilders who do site injections and they don't do large amounts and they're very careful how they do it. I'm talking about people who abuse synthol. And they have a very disproportionate look. So who's at risk? So basically it tends to be more common in males than females in the general population. Now, when it comes to bodybuilders, it can happen to both males and females. Females, let's say the wellness competitors with their booty, they want to have a bigger booty. They'll do site injections there. So, I mean, it's not just men. It can happen with women too, but bodybuilders are more susceptible because we are focused on increasing muscle mass. Again, I'm not saying all bodybuilders, I'm saying some abuse the synthol. Now, it's not just bodybuilders, it can be any kind of competitive athlete. Because if you have a bigger muscle, then you can put more output into what you're doing. Let's say a football player. Now, again, remember, synthol does not increase strength. Okay, these type of oils don't increase strength. They basically just make you look like you're stronger because the muscle looks bigger with that ballooning effect. So a lot of times people have low self-esteem. So again, how do they feel good about themselves? If they can look at themselves in the mirror and like what they see, a bigger muscle. Again, I'm not saying that's the best way of doing it, but I'm saying these people are more at risk. Also, social media. Social media. Now, I'm not totally against social media. I do think social media does have its place. The thing is, social media, people compare themselves a lot because people do what I call the highlight reels. So what I mean by that is people only put the best stuff up. You know, as far as they don't post their hard days, they only post their good days. In fact, some people, not all, but some people will just post the positive stuff and it looks like they're having the time of their life. Life is easy. They're following their diet. And that's great if that's the case, but there's a lot of people who that's not their entire story. I'm not saying they don't eat healthy, but they don't, or they do come out and lie and say, oh, I stay on my diet all the time. Well, no, I've actually seen the backs. You know, I've seen them out and about and I know that they're not eating healthy all the time. Just be honest with people. I don't care if you have a cheat meal. Just be honest with people. Don't profess that you're eating healthy all the time if you're not. And it's okay to have, you know, a planned scheduled cheat meal. There's nothing wrong with that. Just be real with people. That's my little beef with the social media thing. But, you know, for people who are saying, hey, I emulate that person or I look up to that person. They said, if I just follow this diet or if I follow this workout plan, I'll look like them. Bullshit, you will. You don't have their genetics, you know, and we have to keep sometimes things in perspective. So let me, and put it this way. Let me start with this. I like Ronnie Coleman. Okay. I have a huge amount of respect for him, but I wouldn't recommend anyone train like he did. I don't know if you noticed his form. His form wasn't very good, but can I deny that he got really strong and he was like one of the GOATs? No, I can't deny that, but I just wouldn't recommend it because it's not healthy for everybody. So, you know, with social media, you have to take it with a grain of salt, guys. And social media isn't necessarily what I call the real world. So if you want to put on lean muscle tissue, you can do that. Just be careful. And I'm not saying you can't have mentors or you can't have people you look up to, but just be realistic that even if you do exactly what you want, let's say you found a body type on social media that you're like, that's what I want to look like. So you follow everything they've done. Let's say they're eating and they're training. You won't necessarily look like them because you don't have their genetics. And I'm not saying that to put you down. I'm just saying people are different in different circumstances. Maybe they don't have a family and you have a family. That's extra stress. That's extra time that you can't dedicate to the sport or trying to get into shape because someone else can do this full time, or they're sponsored. So they have more opportunities than you might have. So if you're doing the comparison thing, look at every factor and be realistic. But I'm not saying don't try to be in your best shape or don't have accountability. Just make sure you have an accountability coach to keep you real. So, I help people with accountability all the time, but you can get coaches who help you with your training and your diet to keep you accountable as well. But for people who don't have that accountability or don't have that insight, they look at social media saying, I want that body part. I'm going to do what they want to do. I tried it. It doesn't work. I'm going to do this site injection oil. So it looks like I do. Okay, you might look like it, but again, you have to be careful with these site injections, that you have to do it properly and not go overboard. But again, we're talking about risk factors for synthol, and that social media gives people that idea of the ideal kind of muscle appearance. And sometimes people just can't achieve it, even if they really try hard. Again, a lot of it has to do with genetics. Now, sometimes I remember seeing that there's actually some research that indicates there could be a genetic predisposition to having muscle dysmorphia and some other obsessive behaviors. So that means that there would be a chemical imbalance in the brain that may be responsible for some cases of body dysmorphia. Now, there's also other possible risk factors, such as sometimes people who have muscle dysmorphia, not all, but some, have experienced some type of trauma in their upbringing, such as, let's say, sexual assault or domestic violence. Again, not all, but some. Some have experienced issues in their adolescence, such as bullying, or ridicule for actual or perceived differences. You know how kids can be so mean to each other and they pick on each other. So that that they're small, that they're weak. And I use these terms. Maybe they're not very good with sports. They have poor athleticism, intellectual inferiority. Like, again, kids can be really cruel. I don't know if you guys ever grew up in that situation where kids can be cruel, but they can be very cruel. I'm not saying adults can't be, but this is where it can stem from. And then when we're picked on, we don't want to be picked on. Well, I don't know anyone who wants to be picked on. So in order to help stop that being picked on, we want to appear bigger. We want to feel that that they can't pick on us. We want to give people a reason that they can't pick on us. And a lot of times that can be added muscle. So again, I'm not saying this can't have a happy ending. I'm just saying this is one of the possible risk factors to lead someone to muscle dysmorphia. So treatment. Okay, so people with muscle dysmorphia, because they like the look of their muscle, don't want to change. And you can't help someone who doesn't want to help themselves. However, if you can get someone to recognize they have a problem, and they can seek treatment from a professional like myself, that can give you the best chances of overcoming muscle dysmorphia. And I use a technique called cognitive behavioral therapy. And one of the techniques is called cognitive restructuring. All that means, I know it's a fancy word, all that means is that it focuses on resetting the individual's perception of their body image and their body-related beliefs. Because we get stuck in our minds with a certain kind of concept, and it's hard to change that concept. And it sometimes takes that third outside party to get us to see that there's actually that we see something different than they see. And it's trying to get them to see what other people see. And it's not that and I said this on Dave's show, I've worked with anorexics, and they think they're obese. And if you looked at these people, if I showed you pictures, and maybe you know someone like this, but you know that they have these eating disorders, they think they're these huge, massive people, and they're not. But in their minds, when they look in the mirror, no matter how skinny they are, they that They think they're like 400, 500 pounds, and they're not. They're not even 100 pounds soaking wet. So, I mean, it's perception, and sometimes our perception gets really skewed, and it's hard to break through when someone can't see what we're seeing. So it is a process to be able to break that down as far as the beliefs, our belief system. And what I help people do is I replace what we call these irrational thoughts. They're irrational because it's not true. So when I talked with someone who's eating disorder, and let's say they're 100 pounds and they think they're 400 pounds, it's learning how to help them replace these irrational thoughts with body positive ones. And that's the first step in managing any kind of body dysmorphia. But again, if anyone has any further questions, again, about whether it's body dysmorphia or muscle dysmorphia, please post it in the chat. If you guys want to go on a different topic, I'm happy to do that too. I just wanted to start with the topic. So any kind of ideas or questions you have for me, just post it in the chat and I'm happy to address them, guys. That's all I was going to say as far as the muscle dysmorphia piece. So if there's anything anyone wants to ask, please do so. I'll wait for a little bit. And if there's no questions, then we can wrap it up for today. But also if you guys have, because I can appreciate because of the timing, this is like in the middle of the afternoon, Eastern Standard Time, that a lot of people can't join because they're at work. And I understand that, and you're going to be watching this after the fact. So even if you're watching this video after I close the chat, I want you to post any kind of questions, below, and I will answer them. And if you have suggestions for future topics, I'm happy to do those as well. So is your consolation FaceTime? Consolation FaceTime. T-Bray, I'm not sure you mean consolation. Are you saying, okay, assuming you go over rates. Oh, okay. So you're talking, consultation. Okay. So if you want to do any sessions with me, yes, thank you, T-Bray. If you want to work with me, then yes, I offer people both phone as well as Google Meet video sessions. The reason why I don't do Zoom is not as confidential as Google Meet. I've done a lot of research on, because again, and confidentiality is really important to me. So I wanted to use a video conferencing software that was going to be really confidential. And Zoom was not it. So I do Google Meet. And what happens with Google Meet is I send you an invitation, an email invite. All I need is your email address once we get the forms and everything set up. And then there's a link in my email. You just press the link and you end up going into my chat. And that's how we have that conversation. Now, I have clients who are on video calls all day. And they say, Lesley, I'm so tired of being on video. Can I do a phone session with you instead? I'm like, okay. So I offer both. Offer phone and the Google Meet video. If you want to know about my rates, please send me a DM. So my Instagram handle is LesleyT_mental_iron. Just send me a message, or you can email me at leslie@timbol.ca and just say, hey, I'm interested in working with you. What are your fees? And what I'll do is I'll send you my FAQ email, which is my frequently asked question email. So I outline my fee, as well as some other stuff, as well as instructions to book with me. There's usually 2 forms for you to fill out. And then we can go from there. But like I said, if you want to do by chat or on a DM through Instagram, I can do that as well. So T-Bray, I hope I answered your question. Let me know if you have any further questions though. And like I said, if you guys are watching this, anyone who's watching this after the fact, feel free to post your questions below. And again, future topics. I'm always open to future topics. I have so many topics in my mind, but I want to be able to address what's most pressing for you guys so I can make sure I cover it. I must have missed it in the FAQ page. Okay. Did I send you something, T-Bray? Did you already email me or message me? I don't know if I did. Because if I sent you my FAQ email, it is in the email. But like I said, the sessions that we would do would be Phone if you prefer phone, or Google Meet if you prefer the video. No, I went to the website. Okay. So the website, I don't think my website, the timbol.ca website, has the FAQ page on it. You have to send me a message to do that. So literally just, like I said, DM me. Actually, hold on. Can I type in the chat? Okay, Lesley T _mental_iron. Okay. So Lesley T _mental_iron. That is my Instagram handle. DM me, say, Lesley, send me your FAQ info. all I need is your email address, and then I can email you back with the FAQ, or just from your email, send me like I said at my Lesley@timbol.ca, or email directly. So you got two options: DM me at the Lesley T _mental_iron, or just email me directly at Lesley@timbol.ca. Cool. Awesome. And like I said, if you guys have any further questions, I'm going to wrap up soon if no one asks questions. If you have ideas for future chats, please post it below. I'm here every week. Now, last week, I'm not even sure what happened. Last week, I did this full video on live on stress management techniques, and then somehow it didn't save on YouTube. So I have to retape it. So I'll have to do that at some point. But every Monday after the Iron Therapy show I do on RX Muscle with Dave Palumbo, I'm always here on Mental Iron live to answer your questions live. On Fridays, first thing in the morning, a video gets posted on my YouTube channel on some type of topic. And it's usually not too long, because I can appreciate a lot of people don't have a lot of time and they want to be able to get, and I try to keep it within about, anywhere between 4 and 7 minutes, about something that I think that might be helpful for you. So if you ever get bored or want some helpful hints on things, go to my YouTube channel, because I do have some interesting videos. One of the comments, or I got some messages from people saying they really like my dealing with internet trolls video. It's because they said, I've never seen anything like that before. So how to deal with internet trolls, I have something in there too. I do have some more. I do have at least one, if not two, for sure one on another muscle dysmorphia video that I did. So if you guys want to check that out, please do so. So if that's it for today, if there's no other questions, I'll wrap it up for now. But like I said, if you're watching this after the fact and you have questions about anything we talked about today or topics for the future, please post them below, guys. Like I said, I want to give you guys content that works for you. So thanks for joining me. I hope you guys have a great day, and remember to keep your mental game on. Bye for now, everyone.